snuck into their locker room at halftime and he came into yours, anybody would notice?
I'll take that team to the next level, baby. They'll definitely notice.
Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. We will talk about two sets of brothers facing off at Heinz Field on Sunday when the Chargers are in town to face the Steelers. Sunday night football. But joining me now is Bob Labriola to go over Sunday's practice report and status report for the Steelers. And we'll go over the status report, who's in, who's out, who's questionable, Labs, before we talk about anything else. Out, as I think we all knew would actually happen this week, is Maurkice Gilbert, missing his 5th straight game, 6th overall with that knee injury. Did not practice all week. Same could go for Morgan Burnett. Did not practice all week, but he is listed as doubtful. Burnett is dealing with a back injury, and then listed as questionable Cam Sutton for a personal reason. He did not practice on Friday, but Bud Dupree did not practice and was limited today. He was a full participant, so that's good news there. But still, with the number of outside linebackers on the Steelers roster, you do not want to mess with that, especially with Dupree not feeling 100% with that pec injury from the Denver game.
Right, and to borrow a Mike Tomlinism, Bud Dupree's arrow seems to be pointing up as his participation has increased a little bit, as the week has progressed. And the Steelers have been cutting it kind of fine at outside linebacker throughout this regular season. They only have 3 on the 53-man roster, and you typically play 2 at a time. Ola Adeni was designated one of the Steelers' 2 players to return off the injured reserve list. That would have to come as part of a roster move. I don't know that that's going to happen. I don't know that it's not. But certainly Bud Dupree and T.J. Watt have been pretty integral to the Steelers' defense so far this season. And, missing one of those guys I don't think would be a good thing when you're going into a game against Phillip Rivers and that high-powered Chargers offense.
All right, we had a chance to talk to Bud Dupree following practice on Friday about that pec injury. One, he said he also suffered in college. Let's take a listen to Bud.
Yeah, my senior year, I tore it in college too.
So it didn't keep you out of any games then?
Yeah, I missed 2 games in college, and I put a scrap on. I tore out the bone in college, but this time it just a tear on the muscle, so it wouldn't be that much.
Both times it was a left one?
Yeah.
Can you injure this anymore if you go out there and play, or?
No, because like I said, it's already been torn, so it's just a pain issue now. But, you just got to fight through it.
All right, now the good news with Bud is he said he was a full participant today, was able to get in most of the work that he typically does during the work week. But I think Morgan Burnett, Lab, someone who's listed as doubtful, not practicing all week. We've seen this with him where if he's missed a little bit of practice time earlier in the season with some of those nagging injuries, he has not been active on Sunday. So I know we talked about it on yesterday's show. I think it's going to be Terrell Edmonds' time again.
Yeah, and Missy, a lot of it could be, and I emphasize could be, an issue when you add in the Cam Sutton situation. He now is listed as questionable after missing practice today because of a personal issue. So, when we're looking at some of these sub-packages, multiple defensive back formations that the Steelers like to use, the team has had some experience playing without Morgan Burnett. But if you subtract him and Cam Sutton, I don't know how if they would even try to replace them both or just go to packages that do not include as many defensive backs. Or I referenced earlier, there could be a roster move. I don't know who it would include, but there's a lot of stay tuned here. It seems to be to me. And as I mentioned earlier, Phillip Rivers and the Chargers offense isn't one that you want to be kind of doing things by the seat of your pants 24 to 36 hours before game time.
All right, we heard from Maurkice Pouncey at the top of the show talking about facing his brother Mike. He has done so in the past when Mike Pouncey was with the Miami Dolphins. For T.J. Watt, though, this will be different, facing his brother Derek Watt, who is a fullback for the Chargers. Here's T.J.
He may not get all the publicity that JJ and I get, but Derek's been in the NFL. This is his 3rd year. I don't see many people in America doing that. I don't see many people in the world doing that. He's playing at the highest level. He's starting fullback for an NFL team. I think that's pretty damn cool, and that puts him in the elite category as an athlete. And I don't think that's anything that should be undermined by any means.
All right, shout out to Dom Ranelli of the Steelers PR staff. He looked into it. We thought this was going to be a way better fun fact, but it's not, but we'll still take it. The last time 2 sets of brothers have played each other was December 28th, 2014 New Orleans versus Tampa Bay. That was Brandon and Brian Dixon versus Josh and Luke McCown. So I still think this will be crazy to see, especially since they're all starters, but especially for TJ and Derek Labs. They're actually going against each other.
Right, and I think a lot of Derek Watt's anonymity can be traced to the position that he plays. Fullbacks in the NFL are kind of like dinosaurs. There aren't very many of them left, and not a lot of teams employ them on a regular basis. But I'll tell you what, you have to be a tough guy to play that position in this league. And, I keep going back to this, but this Steelers defense is going to be charged with trying to contain a very high-powered offense. And one of the ways you want to try and do that is to make it one-dimensional. And so for the Steelers defense to limit or eliminate the Los Angeles Chargers' threat of the run, you're going to have to deal with Derek Watt. And there could actually be some collisions between the two brothers. And when we look at that matchup, the Pouncey brothers, of course, both play offense, and so they're never actually on the field together. So we could see TJ and Derek maybe going at it more than they have since, they were both adolescents in their parents' house.
Yeah, they said the last time they faced off was at Wisconsin during practice, so it doesn't really count, not real game action.
But I'll bet you some of those in their parents' living room, when they were fighting over the last, whatever brothers fight over the last, some of those were pretty competitive, I would imagine, as well.
The last bowl of cereal. All right, Labs, thanks so much for joining me today. We are going to end on a high note, more participation in the Steelers Social Justice Grant Program taking place following practice on Friday. There you see Ramon Foster, Maurkice, Pouncey, some other O-linemen and other Steelers players helping to donate $23,000 to the Urban Impact Fund, which is located here in the Pittsburgh community. So again, kudos to all the players and the Steelers organization for giving back to the Pittsburgh community. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, Mike Prisuta with his plays to ponder for the Chargers. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Steelers Live. Joining me now is Mike Prisuta with his plays to ponder as we get ready for Sunday Night Football and the LA Chargers.
Thanks, Missy. The Chargers have one of the best two-way running back threats in the NFL in Melvin Gordon. He's dealing with an MCL issue, but the running back cupboard is not bare. The Chargers have more where Gordon came from, and one of the guys we're probably going to see a lot of on Sunday is the second half of that dynamic duo for the Chargers. That would be Austin Ekeler. Let's go to 4th and 1 from the Arizona 15 last Sunday, and you see Ekeler, a little guy, still able to make people miss. He looks a lot like Philip Lindsay. The strength of the formation is to the right. They pitch it left. 1 miss, 2 miss, and now we're inside the 5-yard line. Little guys tend to take big hits in this league, but the good ones are able to take them and keep coming, and Ekeler appears to be one of those. Let's go now to 1st and goal from the Arizona 2 in the 3rd quarter, and this time there's no trickery. It's just up the middle. Only about 5'10" and 200 or so pounds, but Ekeler can run between the tackles. He's a former undrafted free agent from Western Colorado, but in 2 years he has been very productive running the ball and catching the ball. Like Gordon, Ekeler has been effective on first downs, and like Gordon, he's been effective catching the ball. How effective? Let's take a look at 2nd and 7 from the Arizona 27, 2nd quarter. Watch that turning one-handed grab. How did Phillip Rivers go 25 for 25 against Arizona? He had guys make plays for him. This was only a 5-yard gain, but it kept the ball rolling in the right direction. Austin Ekeler, a versatile and dependable player for the Chargers. Phillip Rivers has a long track record of being that as well. Let's take a look at 1st and goal from the Arizona 2 in the 2nd quarter. Pretty simple play here. Take the shotgun snap, couple of steps back, and then let it fly, and Mike Williams, all 6'4" of him, goes up and gets it. If Rivers puts the ball in the right spot, and invariably he does that, you're going to need a 6'4" cornerback to defend a play like that. Rivers is mostly a pocket passer, but he's not just limited to the pocket. Let's take a look at 1st and goal from the Arizona 4 in the 3rd quarter. He wants another fade. It's not there, so he extends the play, rolls out. Now they're just making it up as they go along. Keenan Allen and Phillip Rivers. This is a 4-yard touchdown, and he puts this ball only where his guy can catch it. Allen makes a great play to keep the feet in bounds. It's a veteran wide receivers core for the Chargers, and Rivers knows how to take best advantage of them. Last but not least, let's go to 1st and 10 from the Arizona 31, 2nd quarter, and watch Phillip Rivers throwing a block on defensive back Leonard Johnson of Arizona. Eckler comes from the wide receiver position, wide right. It's a handoff to Gordon and then a reverse pitch to Eckler. And look at Rivers. That's not a great block, but it's not a token block either. That shows you how competitive Phillip Rivers still is. He's willing to get out in front of a play and do what he can to help a teammate. Let's go to take a look at the defense now. 1st and 10, Arizona 25, 2nd quarter. And this is number 1 pick, Derwin James, the safety from Florida State. This is not a great throw by Josh Rosen, but Derwin James still has to read through the play action fake on this, find his man in the flat, and then get out in the flat. And hey, if they're going to throw you the ball, why not catch it? There you see him making the read. He's in position, and then he reacts to the ball. Derwin James, 3.5 sacks this year, 9 passes defense, 78 combined tackles in 11 starts. Up front, the way that the Chargers defend the pass from the pocket is to sick Joey Bosa at the quarterback. Let's go to 3rd and 9 from the Arizona 35, 2nd quarter. Bosa has been doing this since he entered the league in 2016. That's Andre Smith at right tackle, formerly of the Cincinnati Bengals. Bosa throws him aside with a shove of the right hand and takes a direct path to Rosen. 30 games in the NFL for Bosa since 2016. He has 25 sacks. One-on-one against this guy doesn't appear to be an option. Von Miller has been doing it longer than Bosa, but Bosa has been doing it better. And finally, let's take a look at rookie kicker Michael Badgley. This is just a 31-yard field goal at mop-up time, but it's significant because Badgley is 9 for 9 on field goals and 16 for 17 on extra points since taking over for Caleb Sturgis. The Chargers had 5 kickers miss a combined 10 field goals and 5 extra points last season. This season, Caleb Sturgis missed 4 field goals and 6 extra points in the first 6 games. But Badgley, a rookie from Miami who had gone to training camp with the Indianapolis Colts, appears to have settled down that kicking situation, so you can maybe add that to the list of challenges that the Steelers are going to face on Sunday night at Heinz Field. Reliable kicking from the Chargers. I'm Mike Prisuta, and those are this week's Plays to Ponder.
All right, Mike, thanks so much. Again, happy Friday to everyone. Don't forget, this is Alumni Weekend for the Pittsburgh Steelers, a chance to celebrate Super Bowls 13 and 43. We'll have complete coverage all weekend long, the Alumni Dinner on Saturday, and of course, Sunday Night Football coming to you at Heinz Field on Sunday. That's going to do it for this edition of Steelers Live. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you Monday at 4 p.m. Have a great weekend, everybody.